So when you say you want artists to get the same respect as Beethoven did, what have you found during that research that's different from Beethoven to what's happening now?
Um, it's really not that different because art is always a reflection of the time in which it was created, in one sense or another, right? And so that reflection to me is such a through line that it doesn't feel all that different, and that's why I think it's beautiful, and that's what I think, like the limitations we put on genre. Great art is great art, and like there's just certain qualities that great art has that the thing I always say is like great art will give you what you give it, meaning like it will continue to reward you as long as you give it your time and attention. And that's what I found with studying Beethoven. That's what I found with studying Kendrick Lamar, is that these are great artists that are reflecting the times. And so, of course, you're going to learn things, the specifics of each time and what the art is manifesting is different. But the through line of this is a representation of this era. I mean, Kendrick Lamar is a great example of that. I feel like he's going to be the one 200 years from now that people can look back on and say, what was going on in 2015? And it's like Study to Pimp a Butterfly. And that is a gateway into so much of not only that moment, but all the history in America that led to that moment. If you really go down the rabbit hole of that album, it is an education. And
100%.
that's the same with you study Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, or you study his Third Symphony, which has a lot of history about Napoleon and stuff that influenced that. It's like that's another wormhole into learning about that era. And so, to answer your question, it's really not that. I don't see a big difference. And that was something that really kind of bothered me when I was studying classical music at college, because essentially, I mean, it's kind of changing a little bit now, but like for the most part, you study classical music when you're studying music at a collegiate level. And what bothered me was like, we would never talk about anything current. And I was just like, why not? Why can't we treat these modern artists like we treat these other artists, And that was another reason why I started Dissect, was to try to bridge those worlds a little bit.